Good morning, YouTube land. Happy Corona Day 1 million. I wanted to take a second or many seconds to do a video for you guys. This has been on my mind a lot the past number of weeks, probably actually past number of months, or even the last couple of years. It's about the movement of manifestation and positivity. And I wanted to speak about how I think that as a whole, the people that are trying to teach how to manifest and be positive are missing a couple of really important steps for people who have had any experiences that are less than pleasant, that have left an imprint on their soul, mind, and body. So essentially, these people that are saying, first and foremost, just be positive. Just be positive and everything will change. Well, that is a very harmful blanket statement. I have some notes because I want to make sure I don't miss anything, and this feels really, really important to me. So that blanket statement of telling people to be positive is a direct devalidation of your current experience, if not done in the proper way. So if I am having the worst migraine of my life and someone says, just be positive, first of all, when you're having a headache, that is very, very hard, or any type of pain. And second, it's not paying attention to what is actually happening right now. So that is harmful. Number two, people talk extensively about manifesting things, like manifesting the life of your dreams and all this stuff. Well, what if you can't do that because you cannot feel into what the life of your dreams would even fucking look like, or where you would go, or who you would be, or who you would be with, or what you would eat? That is very problematic. Some people have not had lives where they can have dreams. There's not room for that manifestation kind of like vision in your brain. So the blanket statements of thinking positive and manifestation don't take into account the current situation, which is probably different than what you want to ask for. So while those two things are very powerful tools, the foundation before that needs to be looked at. So we need to talk about the current and the past and work that shit out. So what I hypothesize based on my experience, and everyone has a different experience, is that it's really important to address things like trauma and PTSD and any sort of manifestation in that group before trying to think positive and before trying to manifest, and doing that in a very specific way. So to me, I think it's really important to go to a professional who has been trained in trauma, in complex PTSD, in loss, in grief, in health issues that are chronic, because they will really understand that this isn't just a choice for us. This is something that has come through daily over and over and over again. So I would say go see a professional to do EMDR, do somatic experiencing, because these therapies bring up these body memories that impact the way that we think. And so it's this loop that doesn't stop, and we have to bring up the now, which is suffering, bring up the past, which can be suffering, bring it up to the surface, basically reparent it, make it feel better, make it feel loved, and let it know that it's not needed anymore. And that is a process that takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of practice, because basically your body is in a certain rhythm. Something triggers it, it's going to go into the PTSD, it's going to go into the feeling of shame, it's going to go into the feeling of less than, and then it's really hard to get out of that. And when you're in that, you can't manifest something different. You're just continuing to feed into the shame loop or the grief loop, and it's something that you don't have control over. It's an automatic body response that has integrated itself to try and protect you, but it's not protecting you any longer. It's actually blocking you from other shit. So again, do not pass go, basically. Don't try and be positive and manifest things if you haven't dealt with the core foundational stuff, which I also want to acknowledge is difficult because of money. So I would also try and reach out to people that you know are new therapists, or people that have sliding scale things, or sometimes they do group therapy for this, because also sometimes working in groups with people who are having the same experience can help you see and help you do this practice in a way that's more affordable. Because I know a lot of people that are stuck in especially health situations which are on a feedback loop continually. It is hard to pay for shit because you are exhausted, because you're not working, and you don't have money. So that's very, very important to note. I don't think that everyone has all of these resources to just go access all these magical, therapists that cost $1 bajillion. So I think that that's really important to acknowledge. So again, working on the foundation of what is currently happening, what is currently painful, letting it speak up, letting it talk to you, letting it make you feel sad or take you back to a time when you were younger or when the injuring happened, and acknowledge it like it's a little kid. And then with the help of these therapies and therapists letting it go, that makes room to start basically rebuilding a very small repertoire at first of new experiences. So once you've done that therapy, there's room for new connections and pathways to be made in your brain. The old things are still going to get triggered and they're still going to linger. And every time that comes up, it is a practice where you basically do a little mini session on yourself, or you continue to decide to go back to the therapist and realize that that thing still has a hold on you. But things are still going to come up. The old stuff, the old connections, the old train tracks are still going to be there trying to fuck with you. And the important part is that you have the thought like, oh, that's what that is, and have the awareness about it. And then as much as you can, work to try and acknowledge it and release it and let it out of your body, so that then you can start creating this small library of little experiences. I am starting to do this myself. I was a really great manifester when I first started my videos, and blah, 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 blah. And I was, but I also struggled because when I would get triggered, I didn't know what to do with myself, because my reality was very different from what I wanted. And then I just got super pissed, and I got really pissed about people telling me to be positive. And so honestly, for the last couple of years, I have been in the acceptance stage and trying to deal with what's actually been coming up. So I'm building a new library of small experiences of things that feel good, because I've been trying to release a lot of the old stuff of you're a sick person, you're gonna have migraines, your body's gonna do this, your stomach's gonna do this, all these expectations, because they're experiences that I have continued to have, but my brain has continued to expect them. So it's this ugly cycle. So recently I've started taking, as much as I can, taking in I like the smell of that certain flower when I'm on that walk. That's nice. Or I like waking up and feeling like my neck can move this way or that way, and they're very, very small things, but I'm noticing that it's actually a lot of work in the beginning to notice things that I like, because my brain was continuing to go to things I didn't like and that I didn't want to come back, or things that I felt bad about, or things that I had experienced. And so that's what trauma does. Trauma keeps playing in your head. So I'm trying to throw in a couple new thoughts in the loop, so there's some positive things going on in my mind too. And if I can feed a little sensation or gratitude thing that I can actually feel in my body, or something that makes me feel warm in that moment, and that's helping rebuild my library, put a new spoke in the wheel that's a positive thing. And so I'm hoping, and it does feel like it's working a bit. Some I don't think it's a miracle cure. I think our DNA still talks to us and still dictates things, and our environment still does that. So I don't want to negate or devalidate reality. But when something really painful comes up, I am really working on being like, that is interesting. This is quite painful right now, but not attaching to the story that pain is going to continue, because that is what I'm fucking excellent at. Is the painful thing comes up, and then I get right on that roller coaster, and I see it through the next 5 years, and my brain is like, well, then this is out of the picture, then this is going to suck, then I can't do this, then I can't do this. So I'm trying to take things in as happening right now and accepting them, and then being like, okay, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow it's going to be this way. So I encourage you guys to really, 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 as much as you can, work with the core foundation of trauma, especially from health shit, or especially from stuff you guys went through as a small child or as a young adult. Anything that kind of formed your brain to go into this, like, frozen thing that just expects shitty things, because you deserve good things, and you deserve to be able to feel positive and manifest. But we have to do the work to clear out the basement first. So anyway, these were thoughts that I thought were really important to make a connection between this positive movement and this manifestation movement, and then also this movement of like trauma, because they feel like very opposing forces, and people don't really talk about the middle work very much. So I thought that was really important to do. I have been working with some different books and methods. If you're curious about that, let me know. And as a disclaimer, I am most definitely not a therapist.